Good morning and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, Castbox is your best option. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys, good morning, good night. Thank you for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. Tino here. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Shazam movie that just came out. If you're new, please subscribe. Head over to bodysnatcherspodcast.com. We're on all different forms of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all that fun stuff. And I'm joined by a couple of special guests today. We have Mac and Zach with us. How you guys doing?
Never better.
I mean, I've been better, but I mean, what do you want from me?
Yeah, we're living.
We're alive.
That's really all you can ask for. These guys are from the Gamer Grudge YouTube channel. And you guys actually had reached out to me. I'm just curious, how did you come across us? Did you guys find just put in like some hashtags and look up some sources for some relative stuff? How'd you come across us?
Well, that's me. I always search for contestants on Gamer Grudge for the show Gamer Grudge and Game Fixers Network. We search for contestants on Gamer Grudge, and I look through the hashtag gamer, and I look through there, and I look at different. It's a grueling process. I go through there and I look at everybody's content, and I see who is like, how can I put it, who is worthy to come on Gamer Grudge. And it's not necessarily mean that you have to be a content. To be on Gamer Grudge, to show Gamer Grudge, you don't have to be a content creator. You just need to love games. And if I see you love games enough, then I'm gonna send you an invite. So I saw your content, and I was like, this guy's a gamer. He's a nerd. I'm gonna send him an invite and see if they want to come on. That's how we met.
Well, no, I'm not happy to have found you. Awesome shirt, by the way. I see we're matching today.
Huh? Yeah. I love Batman. Batman's the best superhero ever.
You're gonna make me burn my shirt.
I don't.
I like this shirt, but I'm gonna have to politely disagree with you.
Oh yeah, well, he's just my favorite superhero. I'm sorry, I grew up with him when I was a little kid. I grew up with him, so yeah.
Right. We don't want to veer too far off, but just for the listeners that taking the time to tune in, I'm gonna post the links for these guys, their YouTube channel, and any other source that they'd like. So you can follow them, check them out, get to know them. They appear to be really big fans of everything that I saw mostly was video game content, which I assume was the core of the foundation, so to speak, of what you do. Correct?
Yeah, it's the core and foundation, but we also do movies. Me and Zach do a show called The Year the Academy Died, which, Zach, you want to take over? Because I don't want to leave you out, buddy.
It's basically we yell at the Oscars for being stupid by year.
Yeah, because they're complete morons. They don't want to put...
And on my channel, I do what I call 5-shot anime reviews, where I watch the first 5 episodes of an anime, and I document my attitude after each one of them, and then have a total score. Interesting.
That's something I think I could check out and get behind.
We also do another show called Is It Rotten, which is just not only me and Zach, it's me and Zach, Kim Hanley, and Eric Osmacher, who is all two other two that are great people. We do a show where we talk about it's just the same as The Year the Academy Died, where we just yell at Rotten Tomatoes for telling to just tell them, hey, that was wrong. You shouldn't have made that film rotten. Or yeah, you're right. That film sucks. We do that a lot, and it's funny when we do it. And at the end we pitch a sequel because we don't want to acknowledge that the sequel exists. No matter what, if the sequel exists, we don't exist. Also, like I said, I just want to give a shout out to Jordan Peele. If you watch the Hellraiser episode, come see me because that's my story. I just want to say that. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Dark Side. Come on, let's do this.
All right, so let's dive into this because we don't want to burn up too much time. Shazam. I have kind of like an awkward stance when it comes to these DC movies. A lot of my listeners are aware of that. As far as, what's been out so far, I mean, personally, I really enjoyed Man of Steel. I hated pretty much everything else. Wonder Woman was tolerable. Obviously, yeah, we love Gal Gadot, we know, but she's, I can't say that that's like the end all be all of that movie. It's just it wasn't enough to do it for me. Her by herself, she needed a better supporting cast. It could have been written better. The CGI at the end looked terrible. It's not a Wonder Woman podcast, but just throwing that out there. Aquaman, I'm willing to give it like an 8 out of 10. I did enjoy Aquaman for the most part. This movie, to be honest, I thought I was going to hate it. I went into it and every fiber of my being told me that I was going to hate this, and I didn't leave that way. I can't say that I was in love with it, but it wasn't too bad. It was overall it was a fairly solid movie, and I didn't expect that from DC. For you two, and maybe Zach specifically, because we haven't heard too much from you as of yet. Kind of how did you feel about it? Did you want to see it? I think you had expressed that you had some doubts, you weren't really interested, but when it finished, how'd you feel?
I felt that it was a bit pandering, to be honest. I came out with a more positive opinion than I thought of the trailer, but not by much.
Fair enough.
It's just a smidge better than I thought it would be. Like, there was no real knockout moment of, yeah, I'm going to remember this. It's sort of that, oh, I would have, like, if I was a kid and I saw this, I probably would love it. Like,
okay.
I will admit that. But now, as an adult who has seen so much of this type of content, nothing. They didn't reinvent any wheels here,
right?
So,
yeah, no, and I think that's fair to say. Aesthetically, the majority of the movie, special effects, etc., I actually really liked. I won't say that they're groundbreaking. I don't think that they did anything new, but I'll also say that I didn't really see anything in there that was kind of half-assed, corny. Like, everything in there looked really good, with the exception of, honestly, Captain Marvel. Like, I didn't really care too much for his suit.
You got some Green Lantern vibes in there.
Kind of. And I really want to know kind of why they did it that way, because Zachary Levi is the actor who, got to play adult Shazam, Captain Marvel, whatever you want to call him. And I guess he's been getting attacked a lot in the media as far as people talking about, the suit and, the stuffing or whatever you want to call it. It's a muscle suit. And he put in work. If you guys saw his before and after transformation for what he did, he put on a lot of weight. And to be honest, I think he put on enough weight to where he could have stood toe to toe with, Henry Cavill and the rest of them, and, put on a tighter suit, and it would have looked good. He wouldn't have been quite as bulky, but it would have looked really good and believable. I don't know why they were like, okay, Shazam's got to be extra. He's got to look like he takes steroids. He's got to have bubbly arms. It just, I don't know. It just kind of did something for me where I couldn't fully, I couldn't get as invested with the film as I wanted to, because they made that decision. And they were knocked and told repeatedly, like, please don't do this. And they were like, no, we're doing it. We don't care.
I felt like, and I know Zach's going to hate me for this, because every time I do this, I feel like if you were to cast a Rock as as Marvel, as Shazam, I think it would have been a little better, because this is coming after when he did Jumanji. When he did Jumanji, and I watched that film, he was playing basically the same character, a kid inside of a man.
Right.
But I felt like it was the same concept. I felt like if you were to take him and put him as Shazam, I felt like you could have got the boldness and the same vibe as The Rock. And The Rock acted way better in that film. And I felt like if you would have done and put him in this film, it would have looked a little bit more decent. I think, but I'm not nothing against Zach Levi. I think he did a phenomenal job.
But you know what though? It's not very difficult to pull off. And I don't know.
The Rock's going to be Black Adam, by the way.
Right. I was actually going to add that on there. Yeah. So that'll be in 2 for sure, the way that they've set this film up.
Mm-hmm. I thought he's going to be in this one. Sorry.
But piggybacking off what you were saying, Mac, I don't think it's really that difficult to pull off and make it believable. For instance, do you remember, I don't know if I'm older than you guys or not, are you familiar with Power Rangers Turbo? Yes. Did anybody watch that as a kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the Power Rangers Turbo movie and in the series that was on television, for its I think one season, I think might have had two. I think it was just one. The Blue Ranger was a young boy, and he transformed. And when he transformed, for whatever reason, the way that they wrote this thing out, he turned into a grown man. And it was honestly more believable just because he wasn't like a bubble man. It just made more sense. Like, this dude looked like a One Piece character or something. It was just hard for me. Remember how Street Sharks were built, like where they had like the tiny little legs and the massive upper bodies, and it just took me out of it. And I don't know.
I totally see the One Piece. Oh, now I can't unsee that.
Yeah, he's built like Frankie. I love Frankie in One Piece. In the back of my mind, the whole time I was watching, all I heard was like super, and I was like, I don't think that this was it, guys. I don't think that this was it. But okay, so let's go away from that. I've highlighted the fact that the way the effects of the movie look with the lightning, the Shazam wizard, and by the way, the Shazam wizard, traditionally speaking, in the comics, it's usually a white dude. Which whatever. I mean, not to. I'm just pointing it out. I found it interesting. In the 2010 Superman Shazam movie, I'm fairly certain that was the animated one that I'm thinking of. They do a small origin story for Shazam, and Black Adam comes in, and basically Black Adam mops the floor with a Shazam who hasn't kind of gotten his stride yet, and Superman who's vulnerable to magic. But the reason that it's important to bring up is the wizard in that particular movie was a black guy, and that's exactly. I believe that that's what they were trying to capture, was that the wizard from the animated version in 2010, and I thought that was pretty cool. I honestly kind of was avoiding the trailers going into this. Maybe they showed him leading up to it. But I thought the wizard was dope. Like, I thought it was going to be corny, but something about it. It had like this Africa Bombada vibe. I don't know, dude. I was just with it. What did you guys think of the wizard and the 7 deadly sins, etc.?
The wizard was fine. The 7 deadly sins is where they lose me.
Really?
It's too corny.
Even for a kids movie? Now, keep in mind, we grew up with things like Surf Ninjas. So think about that.
Yeah, but I love Surf Ninjas. It's different.
Yeah, but you were a kid and it's biased. Just have you gone back and watched Surf Ninjas?
I did. I still love it. It is the worst.
Yeah, it's terrible. I love it too, but it's terrible.
I consume trash like that on a regular basis for fun. Exactly. So I would say what bothers me about the 7 deadly sins is those are not things for a child to overcome. And that takes away a lot for me. So it's like he's picking kids, and it's like, and then throwing them away who barely have a concept of what these things even are. So it just kind of makes Shazam look like a bad guy to me.
The wizard?
Yeah.
Okay. But it has been that way for the most part in the comics, though. So, I mean...
I know, but I also don't like the comics, so...
Totally fair.
I'm the complete opposite. I thought it was the reverse. I thought the Dark Wizard, was a bit of an issue. I didn't like the fact he was supposed to be the chosen one, and I didn't kind of. It felt like he was a brat that really wanted to get back his parents, and I was like, I sing the same song and dance. Little brat, little spoiled rich kid that wasn't told he was good enough, comes back and tries to overthrow his parents. I thought the 7 deadly sins were pretty good. It really started a stepping stone for what, and I think that's what he was. He was sort of not to spoil anything, but the reveal at the end in that it wasn't the kid, it wasn't him that was doing all that. It was something else that was controlling him. And I thought that was something interesting. I thought the 7 deadly sins brought upon each sin very well, and I thought that was pretty good. I liked it.
Exactly call him like just a spine, like a whiny kid, though. He was legitimately being abused. Yeah, I'm just saying it's like it. Like, I would not say that like, oh, he had no reason to do what he did. No, he had every reason. Like it like his character arc makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah, you're
like,
good.
I mean, think of that, just the PTSD from just the car ride thing alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, Shazam made his own villain and then made everything so strict he couldn't get a hero, is what I saw. So
yeah. And I can understand it. Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, though, it was inevitable. Like that's the route that it was going to take. Whether or not that kid ever made an appearance, whether or not he came back at some point. Let's fast forward a little bit, or just I forget fast forward. Let's alternate reality. Let's pretend that the first person who came in there, that child who was not worthy, never came. And let's assume that Billy Batson later goes on and attains those powers. And he doesn't have any knowledge of what's going on because, everything is so time sensitive. Shazam didn't have the ability, the time to explain, what you're doing, what your purpose is, and so forth. So he would have left that area. He would have left them completely alone with the 7 deadly sins by themselves. So with nobody keeping them in check, it was going to be a matter of time before they got free, found somebody else, and then went after Shazam, the new Shazam, to kill him. You know what I mean? Like, either way, it was going to go down like that.
Right.
I would argue that I'm not sure Billy Batson would have been chosen in the first place then.
Potentially, but we don't really know if they would have came across somebody else, because it's not like the wizard stopped looking.
It isn't, but it's like, at the same time, it's like the wizard himself kind of was like, okay, I'm resigning to let Billy Batson become Shazam here.
Right.
This is not first pick. I mean, if anything, the movie kind of showcases how bad his decision making is to me, because it's like, okay, well, I should have let somebody have some power and then seen what they'd done with it, because Shazam exhibited some of these 7 deadly sins traits, but then overcame them. Well, nobody else got that chance.
It searched what was in his heart. As corny as that sounds,
it didn't.
You got to roll with it.
I do not at all. Not even a little.
Look, I thought it was a good film. I thought the way it was set up, because as you were saying, I kind of disagree with you on Wonder Woman. I thought Wonder Woman was a good film. I thought Wonder Woman was a good film. I thought, as much as you want to talk, I thought it was a good film. I love Aquaman. Aquaman was exactly what I was expecting. It was what I wanted. I wanted a dumb under the sea film. I wanted that crap. I wanted this stupid crap.
Even the corny love scene, because the only bad part of Aquaman was the corny love scene.
Well, that was stupid. But I was sitting there. That was stupid. But one thing I wanted to do was like, okay, I watched that film. I was like, if this film does the whole orange and green suit, this is the best. This is a seat of my expectation, because I was like, this film already wacky. It's just missing that green and orange suit. I was like, there it is. It's there. I was like, yes, this film is it's good. They did it. They made a good film, and they did something decent, which was fun. And I thought this film was a great film, and it's doing everything, because I hated Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman was hot garbage.
It was awful.
I hated Justice League.
Awful.
Suicide Squad, I hated.
The worst.
The worst
of them all.
See, I disagree with that right there.
I knew you were going to say that.
I enjoyed several parts of Suicide Squad. I think it's a mess, all things to get considered, but it is really fun to watch.
Yeah, but Jared Leto's Joker it disappointed me so much.
No, dude. Will Smith and Friends. That's what we call it here on this show. Will Smith and Friends. That movie was put together with super glue and duct tape. It was...
Which made it way more fun to watch for me than the other ones.
MacGyver couldn't even save that film.
Let's deviate back to Shazam, because I'm going to go down a hole that I can't come back. That I can't come back from. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about how did you guys feel about the relationship between Billy and Freddy, kind of going through the movie? Because I actually really enjoyed that. Some of it, obviously due to plot, could have been told a little bit better, and Freddy would do something stupid or Billy would do something stupid. I get it, it's to propel the plot, but the overall relationship between the two, I thought was like a really fun, kind of happy relationship. Where we're slowly becoming, we don't like each other, but we're slowly becoming best friends, brothers.
This might be controversial, but I think they should have let them be more juvenile.
Elaborate.
I think they were too adult. I think they were too, well, resolve our differences and get cool and stuff. They didn't really like truly come to blows, at least not from what I remember being as a kid, you know.
See, and I'm gonna have to disagree, because I think that they handled that entire situation exactly the way you would expect a nerdy child to handle that situation in 2019. I think if some asshole got superpowers at 15 and, you know, they were losers and they were just screwing around with these powers and, you know, they were with one friend, I absolutely think that they would have filmed them and put them on YouTube to try to go viral.
Oh, no, I get that. I'm talking, I think they would have been more juvenile, as in to each other. They would have been a little bit, no one's crueler than kids. And I think they were already too nice to each other.
But don't you think that a big part of that was because individually they both had such difficult lives that they kind of, you know, found common ground amongst each other? Because that's kind of the way I took it.
I don't know. I'm just going off my own personal experiences. The more closely you were to somebody when I was growing up, the more cruel you were. The more screwed up the prank, the more like I was like half expecting like him to, like, you know, do something with the crutch or something. I was truly half expecting it. Like, that's
not to cut you off, Mac. I totally agree, but usually that's something that happens not immediately. Usually it's a little bit of time. You know, you as you get to warm up. You know, first it's like we're cool, we're like this. And then you start to screw with each other. It's usually not right off the bat. Usually if you're screwing with somebody right off the bat and you don't click, you guys do not become friends, you know?
Well, he stole his bullet thing, so, I mean, like, I want it to be more ridiculous, I guess. Like, throw his cane thing to the moon and then halfway through the movie go retrieve it.
Well, there was a part in the film.
Like, that would be interesting to me.
There was a part in the film that made up for the bullet thing, because it just was so funny. The whole robber thing, and it's in the trailer. I'm not spoiling nothing. Where he's literally messing with the robbers, and he's like, well, he said, hey, you need to stop that, and he was testing out his vulnerability, and he shot him, and he's like, dude, you're bulletproof. He said, oh. Yeah, shoot him in the head. Shoot me in the head. I said, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, that's like, you can see the sinister style of him. Like, yeah, you're gonna get me back from missing my bullet. And if he isn't, oh well. So when he shot him in the head, and there was a sort of just a juvenile. There was some juvenile in it.
I believe that solidifies our point in what we're trying to say. So yeah. check in, mate. That was a good one. That was a good one, man. I've got to give you that one. Not to come for Zach, but that was solid.
That was funny, yeah.
but I mean, overall, I think, you know, the movie was pretty clean. I think the story was simplified, but stayed close to the comics. But a large part of the reason why I think this went so well is because they didn't have a traditional like love interest in this movie. And I think that would have screwed up everything. Because for Aquaman, as good as it was, visually stimulating, Nicole Kidman kicking ass, just every little part of that film I loved, except for the love scene. The love scene was really annoying. They had love, but it was of a different kind.
Yeah, a love interest would just be creepy with this context. So
yeah, it would. I mean, that's what I
wouldn't say creepy. I mean, I could have seen them. I'm glad they didn't, but I could have seen them trying to squeeze in some, you know, teenage girl the same age as Billy, and, you know,
that's the next movie.
That's the next movie. Yeah.
God, I hope not. Please be wrong.
Yeah, they're probably gonna do it because
they probably will.
There's a good chance they're gonna do it. I mean, there got to be a love interest, and like I said, they do that with other films. Some films it works. You know, Batman, it works. You know, it works. You know, you got
does it though?
Well, the first two Batmans, it works. Like Batman and Batman Returns, it works. Chase Meridian, what the heck are you doing, Joel Schumacher, and whatever the heck her name was, and Batman. I'm gonna forget that film exists. Rachel Dawes, it kind of works. And then with the MCU. Pepper Potts. I like I said, with going into another film with the Far From Home. I told Zach this. I like in our first episode of the GF1 podcast. We said I like the fact that they're literally getting him involved with MJ, not Mary Jane, but MJ, because I like that they're sort of doing that sort of thing. It's not sort of like push, because we all had a problem. I told him, like, I had a big problem with and everybody. I know I'm going to get hate from this because everybody loves Spider-Man in the first two, and they love, for some odd reason, Kirsten Dunst, but I did not like Kirsten Dunst. I did not like her as Mary Jane.
Yeah, she was all right. She's all right.
Look,
Yeah.
I think my main problem with this movie is that it's not impossible to take something with that innocent of a premise or that wholesome of background and turn it into something kind of interesting. Cloak and Dagger being a prime example for me.
Okay.
I thought Cloak and Dagger was going to be awful, but they fleshed it out enough where I was interested.
They found a friend in you, like the Toy Story song.
You got a friend in me. Hey.
There it is. Well, that's good to know. So I guess, because we're nearly out of time here, but the only other thing that I kind of wanted to ask, did you guys enjoy the surprise ending? And again, I can't really elaborate on it because this is a major spoiler and I would hate to ruin it for people, but just for like a small teaser, and for context, you guys know what I'm talking about, with Darla, Freddie, Eugene, and Mary. The surprise that we got towards the end, was that fun for you? Was that a hard pill to swallow? I mean, because there are some iterations in the comics that actually make that make sense.
I'm gonna go first. I want to go first on this because I already know Zach's answer. That was a tough pill for me to swallow. I did not want to see Superman in this film. I wanted just no Justice League members. I wanted this to stand alone. When I saw that S, I was like, ah.
You have missed everything that I just said.
Absolutely, 100%. No.
My bad. Oh, crap. Cut that out.
You gave it.
I can answer the question though.
Shame corner for you.
Like it was.
I go in the corner.
It was a hard pill to swallow, mostly because that means having to recognize some of that extension, and some of those are like if you try rereading those are really, really bad. Where the term Captain Nazi becomes into play.
This is true.
so like
we don't have time to get into it on this show, but yeah, what he's saying is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
Well, I mean, obviously, they're not going to go that direction with it. But I get where you're coming from. I do.
I'm in the corner, so
For me personally, it was an excuse to get Megan Good on screen, and anytime you have Megan Good on the camera, I melt. I've always been that way with her. That might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's certainly mine. If I could put that in my Keurig every morning to start the day, I would. So that's just kind of how that was for me. But overall, I mean, I didn't think it was too bad. Like, it happened, and I kind of had an eye roll at first, but then I'm like, you know what? Like, they're having fun with it. They found a way to squeeze it into the plot. I think the bigger issue is going to be, for the next movie when they explain why that's no longer a thing, because that should not stay. That should have been a one-time deal.
It's in a comic, isn't it? Right? It's in the comic.
Is. Well, according to the animatic afterwards, though, it does stay.
Yeah.
If that's true, I'm gonna have some big issues with it, because I think that's gonna cause more confusion than anything.
You're gonna have to get new people. How are you gonna get these people?
I think they're gonna rotate some cast out. Is how they're gonna do it.
And that's not gonna work.
They all looked better than Shazam did. If we're being honest.
Yeah.
They all looked like a lot better.
but the question.
Okay, go ahead before we're going out.
Can Black Adam do it? That would be interesting. If Black Adam could do the same powers.
Black Adam would never do it, and he would never need to do it because Black Adam's personality is very different from the Shazam that you've just come to know. And he's centuries old, so when it comes to mastering the abilities, I mean, he's light years ahead of Shazam.
Yeah, also
he doesn't need party tricks.
Like if he turned himself young, he'd just be a skeleton. It'd be bad.
True. But one can dream. It'd be funny if because the Rock gonna play Black Adam. It'd be funny if he could find some way to get some WWE people in there and just have them all be different characters. That'd be interesting.
Steven, one of my co-hosts, would love that line, but I'm gonna have to again politely disagree with you.
Oh, you are so wrong.
Listen, I love WWE. I'm sorry.
No, you don't.
I do.
Oh goodness. All right, guys, we are at time. So thank you for hanging out, discussing the movie. I'm going to go ahead and attach those links, so the fans can check them out. And vice versa, whatever information you need from me, we'll exchange numbers. We'll make it happen. So, for that being said, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Head over to bodysnatcherspodcast.com. Subscribe to the audio podcast. We're on iTunes, CastBox, Podbean, every form of social media. We definitely appreciate the help. And if you would like to jump in on the conversation we've had today, please, add whatever you'd like to the comments. We like to talk. Any messages that these guys might miss, I will make sure to pass forward through the proper channels. So you guys take care. Go ahead, say goodbye, guys. Don't be shy.
Oh, bye.
Bye.